My name is Valerie Estella Pro, and I am the External Scientific Affairs Manager here at NDRI. And I'm excited to be able to give you a brief introduction to NDRI and our U42, the Human Tissues and Organs for Research resource, and some great things that we have to offer to our researchers. And so to start, here's a brief outline. I'll go through an introduction of the National Disease Research Interchange, who we are, what we provide, and how it works. And then I'll go through an introduction to HTORR, benefits to researchers, letters of support, pilot award program, and coming soon, we'll also be able to offer histopathology services. And finally, I will outline some neurological tissues that might be of particular interest to your group and end with a brief summary. So NDRI, we are the National Disease Research Interchange, and our mission is to provide human biospecimens worldwide to advance biomedical and bioscience research and development, as well as education in the life sciences. We were founded in 1980. We are a 501c3 not-for-profit corporation governed by a board of directors, and we've been funded in part by the NIH for over 30 consecutive years. We provide thousands of biospecimens to our global researcher network annually and contribute to over 200 publications annually. And we do this by providing prospective procurement of diseased and controlled human biospecimens from any body system. And this includes access to a diverse range of donor populations via customized procurement protocols and various preservation methods, including fresh, frozen, and fixed, as well as timely response to requests and 24/7 distribution. So to do this, we use 4 main donor streams for the tissues that we're able to provide to our researchers. And these include low postmortem interval organs, customized postmortem tissue procurement, ocular tissue procurement, and a surgical discard tissue program. And so I'll go through each of these briefly and let you know what we can provide through each of them. So the first one is this low postmortem interval organ procurement. And so the sources for these tissues are from the organ procurement organizations that make up the transplant network. These specimens are recovered in an operating room by a surgeon with a postmortem to preservation interval of about 4 to 6 hours. These tissues are only available fresh, not fixed or frozen, but they are the lowest postmortem interval we can provide. Examples of organs from this donor stream are liver, heart, lungs, kidneys, reproductive tissues, stomach, intestine, bladder, pancreas, and dorsal root ganglia. The next donor stream that we have is the customized postmortem tissue stream. So for these tissues, we source them from, again, these organ procurement organizations, or OPOs, as well as tissue banks. And this PMI, or postmortem to preservation interval, is about 14 to 24 hours. We don't accept any donations past 24 hours. For these, we're able to provide them fresh, fixed, frozen, and in researcher supplied media. And requests from this donor stream are NDRI's most customizable offerings. So we work with our recovery site technicians to establish recovery protocols for almost any tissue type, including linked samples, which is multiple tissue types from the same donor, such as a tissue and blood or multiple tissues. Next, we have our ocular tissue procurement. So again, we source these from the organ procurement organizations as well as eye banks around the nation. This PMI is about 14 to 24 hours as well. And the preservation methods available for this include fresh in a moist chamber, in media with antibiotics, frozen or fixed. NDRI also has an ocular histological sections project where investigators can request cut slides from an already existing collection. But through the prospective procurement route, we can provide whole globes, posterior poles, cornea, aqueous, vitreous, and lens. Finally, we have our surgical discard tissue procurement. And so the source of this are hospital pathology departments. And the PMI for these are less than 4 hours. So for the preservations of this, we're able to offer this fresh in media with antibiotics, frozen or fixed. And examples of surgically removed tissue samples include tumor samples, normal adjacent tissue, tonsils, spleen, normal skin and adipose tissue from resections or reductions, diseased cartilage from total knee replacements, as well as birth tissues such as cord blood, umbilical cord, and placenta. So the way that we work is through a nice workflow that works with researchers to engage our researchers, find out the feasibility of the requests, develop the customized protocols, and then activate the protocols. And so the first step for our researchers is for them to submit a feasibility application. The feasibility application is a 2-page document detailing project information, PI information, the requested biospecimens, the preservation details, recovery details, procurement frequency, and the requested donor criteria. And I have here the feasibility application QR code as well as our website where you can access this. I will provide this again at the end as well. The second step is once the feasibility committee reviews the submitted application, they're looking for, is diagnosis of the requested disease available in the general medical history to be used for screening the donors for your project? And are our tissue source sites able to collect the requested tissue type? Once the project is determined to be feasible, the researcher will then complete the project development application, which includes details about the donor profiles from which your biospecimens will be recovered, project information such as a project summary, public health relevance, and funding sources, and an applicant's agreement, which essentially serves as our material transfer agreement. Next, based on the responses that we receive, NDRI will develop a customized tissue recovery protocol that specifies the tissue location, the sample size, preservation method or methods, donor requirements and exclusions, and any necessary recovery diagrams to assist in the recovery. All documents that we create receive researcher approval prior to activation to ensure all information is correct and appropriate for the project. This allows for any required adjustments prior to protocol activation, and it helps ensure that all participating parties receive the same information. Once all documents have been approved by the researchers, NDRI then activates the protocol to begin donor screening. So our fulfillment group works 24/7, receiving donor offers and matching them to our currently active protocols. And once a donor is matched, the customized recovery protocol is then sent to the tissue source site and the sample is procured accordingly. So while NDRI is a not-for-profit organization, there are still fees associated with tissue procurement. Specifically, while all organs are donated gifts, we reimburse recovery techs and organizations for their time and labor for each sample recovered. Various preservation methods also incur specific costs, as does shipping biological materials. So that was a general introduction to NDRI and what we're able to provide. Next, I'd like to talk specifically about our NIH-funded U42, the Human Tissues and Organs for Research resource. So the HTORR program is supported by the NIH Office of the Director, Office of Research Infrastructure Programs, or ORIP, and we also have several co-funding institutes. These are the National Eye Institute, the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute, the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, the National Institute of Arthritis and Musculoskeletal and Skin Diseases, and the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases. And HTORR allows NDRI to provide our services to researchers who are funded by our NIH supporters with additional benefits, including reduced costs for tissue procurement, technical support to assist in designing studies and utilizing human biospecimens, letters of support and budgetary information for grant applications. It also provides eligibility for our pilot award program, and coming soon, we'll be able to provide histopathology services as part of this as well. So I'd just like to go through and highlight a couple of these points a little bit further. The first is the letters of support and budgetary information for grant applications. So NDRI provides investigators with personalized letters of support that confirm that we're able to provide the requested tissues and donor types and disease states required for their project. To start this process, an investigator fills out our feasibility application. And once a project is determined to be feasible, we're able to provide this personalized letter that again outlines that we are able to provide what you are proposing in your grant. And then we're also able to provide budgetary and budget justification information for the grants as well. Once the project is determined to be feasible, we can provide details about all estimated costs for incorporation into the project budget. I'd also like to talk a little bit about our brand new pilot award program. So our pilot award program is designed to facilitate a pilot project that will be used in future grant applications. This award is up to 2-year award period and includes up to 10 biological samples per award. This covers all costs associated with procurement, including preservation and shipping costs. It also includes additional support to develop the grant applications to the funding institute that supported the grant, which are, again, either ORIP, NHLBI, NEI, NIDDK, or NIAMS. Eligibility for this award includes individuals from underrepresented populations in the U.S. biomedical workforce, including women, minorities, persons with disabilities, and persons from disadvantaged backgrounds, as defined by the NIH, as well as early stage investigators that are within 10 years of a terminal degree or completion of clinical residency, or established investigators that are transitioning to use human biospecimens. So for this pilot award program, some key dates for the first round of applications are the request for applications is now open as of June 1st, 2024. This first round of applications, the deadline is October 1st, 2024 at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Anticipated award decisions will be coming in December of 2024, and the anticipated earliest start of this award would be January of 2025. More information on this is available on our website at this link listed, but also please feel free to reach out to grants@ndriresource.org. The final piece for HTORR that I'd like to highlight is that we will soon be able to offer histopathology services to all of our HTORR investigators. And so we are partnering with a histopathology group called HistoWiz to provide tissue type confirmation and disease confirmation when feasible, free of charge to all of our HTORR researchers. Researchers will be able to annotate their slides and access publication quality images of the tissues analyzed that will also be available for the researchers to download and use in publications or grants. Additional services are also going to be available, such as specialized stains, immunofluorescence, and additional slides through HistoWiz. So briefly, I would just like to also outline some specific or urological tissues that we might be able to offer. And these include whole kidneys, kidney samples, adrenal glands, renal veins and arteries, bladder, ureter, prostate, penile tissue, and blood. And finally, just as a summary of everything that I went through somewhat quickly, NDRI provides prospective procurement of diseased and controlled human biospecimens from any body system with various preservation methods available. Our NIH-funded U42, the Human Tissues and Organs for Research resource, allows NDRI to provide these resources at reduced fees for investigators funded by NEI, NHLBI, NIAID, NIAMS, and NIDEK. Our new pilot award program is also available to investigators in these research areas. And the first step for any of our procedures is filling out our feasibility application. And with that, I'd like to invite any questions.